Good afternoon, my Real News Media TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update. And in the news this afternoon, businessman accuses Manchester municipal leadership of sabotage in revoking event permit. For the second time within a month, a businessman is accusing the leadership of the Manchester Municipal Corporation of political sabotage in revoking an entertainment permit. Adrian Peart, more popularly known as the Diamond Finger, the promoter of Color Splash, told the news on Tuesday that he was made aware of the permit being cancelled by way of a platform address by Mandeville Mayor Donovan Mitchell on Monday night at a Christmas tree lighting ceremony in Cecil Charlton Park. Peart earlier this year switched allegiance to the Jamaica Labour Party from the People's National Party. The Manchester Municipal Corporation is controlled by the PNP. The Manchester Municipal Corporation did approve or did collect for the event Color Splash on Main Street. Having reviewed the permission, a decision has been taken to cancel that permit, and so I want to say to the public that the event will not be kept there, nor within the precincts of the town. The producer has defined a space outside the precincts of the town where it can hold the necessary crowd that generally comes with that event, Mitchell said. However, Peart is questioning the mayor's announcement, as the Main Street venue is the second area that he has proposed for the event. Outside the precincts of the town would be looking at residential areas. This is a commercial space, and I think such an event for the Christmas and the public is the best location. It is downtown, he said, while pointing out that the property is just under 2 acres, which he plans to sectionalize to include parking for 100 vehicles. It is 28 times that it has been held in the town over the last 10 years. This time around, I think it is very unfair to be having an issue after I received the permission legally, and now I am on the verge of spending close to $5 million, he added. Peart, who in November said he felt politically victimized when Mitchell issued a stop order on a commercial building to house a fast food restaurant in Christiana, said his political allegiance shouldn't be mixed with his professional life. I want to go further with my business without the politics contradicting anything that I am doing. I have some feelings, and you can read between the lines, he said. Peart, who is now looking at alternatives and the possible legal action against the municipality, said the event will happen. On the grounds of hosting this event, I want to assure the citizens that the event will be held on December 24 in Manchester once we get this issue rectified. I am looking at legal avenues to make sure this event happens and recover damages, he said. Reputed King Valley Gang leader sidekick to appeal sentence. Reputed leader of the Westmoreland-based King Valley Gang, Derval Luke Williams, and his sidekick Kristen Grant, who were on Tuesday sentenced to 8 years for plotting to murder a prosecution witness while behind the bars, but who will in effect only serve 3 years and 6 months because of time already spent in custody, have indicated that they intended to challenge that decision in the appeal court. The sentences were handed down by Supreme Court Judge Justin Carlin Typowell on Tuesday in downtown Kingston, following the trial of the two who had spent 4 years and 6 months in custody waiting for the matter to be heard. Williams and Grant are among 3 alleged King Valley Gang members who had remained behind the bars in relation to other crimes after being freed by Chief Justice Brian Sykes in July 2020 when that gang trial collapsed. According to evidence led by the Crown during the trial, a mere month before the Chief Justice's ruling, correctional officers, during searches of the prison cell occupied by Williams and Grant, discovered cellular phones which the men claimed belonged to them. The phone claimed by Williams was discovered in the ventilation area at the back of the cell, while the handset claimed by Grant was found in the groove beneath a 5-gallon water bottle held in place by a bar of soap. The men were charged under a 4-count indictment with 1 count each of conspiring to murder and 1 count each of concealment of a prohibited article. Justice Typowell, in handing down her ruling Tuesday, sentenced the men to a year each for the concealment charges, noting that the statute prescribes a fine of $1,000 or 1 year behind the bars upon conviction. She, however, noted that, given the fact that they had already spent 4 years plus in custody, that 1 year would have already been served by them both. In relation to the conspiracy to murder counts, the trial judge, with a starting point of 7 years and 6 months, said the aggravating factors, such as the fact that the murder was being plotted while they were in the custody of the state, demanded that she conflate that figure to 10 years. That 10 years, however, was reduced to 3 years and 6 months each for the two, after deductions for the time already spent behind bars, mitigating factors such as positive community reports and the fact that they had no previous convictions. However, seconds after Justice Ty Powell made her ruling, Gloom Williams, who had sat stock still throughout the sentencing address, motioned to attorney Abina Morris, who represented them both, along with attorney O'Neill Brown. A brief moment later, Morris, in addressing the judge, gave oral notice that the men intended to challenge the decision at the Court of Appeal. Justice Ty Powell described as egregious the actions of the men from behind the bars, while noting that the level of callousness in their conversation was frightening. She said her decision to use a higher starting point than the usual 5 years was because of the seriousness of this offense, the scant regard for the witness as a human being displayed by Williams and Grant, as well as increasing prevalence of threats and harm to witness in court cases. The judge, in noting that lesser sentences could not be justified, said it was hoped that the penalty would serve to punish and hopefully discourage like-minded individuals. Last Thursday, attorney O'Neill Brown, in his plea and mitigation address before Justice Ty Powell, arguing that the sentence for concealment had pretty much already been served, had opined that based on the law, the men given the 4 years awaiting trial should not be sentenced to more than 2 years. Grant and Williams were found guilty by Justice Ty Powell in July this year. In one of the 10 voice notes with the assassination plan, which were played into the records of the court, Grant was heard as saying, "If Williams want to dirt the witness, he should make me know what him want. Anything you approve, just let me know so I can organize the thing. You know the thing, element of surprise." Several notes later, a voice identified by prosecution witnesses as belonging to Williams is heard as saying, "Me go dirt her, man. Me go dirt her. For real, man. Me go do it. Me go do it." Grant was then heard spurring Williams on by saying, "Wouldn't man we use one stone and kill two birds? Mother just want you do so, and just slap 1, 2, 3, one time and left the whole place weeping and mourning." According to the evidence, Grant had gone as far as to tell Williams that he would find out the work schedule of the witness in order to organize her death, as the COVID-19 pandemic had made it so that everybody there at them yard. The legal woes for the two self-appointed businessmen are, however, far from over, as the news was reliably informed that they are currently before the court to face anti-gang charges in relation to the previously mentioned King Valley Gang. Banks are struggling to comply with the BOJ service standards for ABMs. Downtime for several automated banking machines remain below the service level standards implemented by the central bank for deposit-taking institutions. Deputy Governor of the Bank of Jamaica, Dr. Jade Lewis, says that the operational time for several ABMs hovers between 5 and 6% below the BOJ's service standards.
90% of those ABMs by banks should be operational, and banks have been meeting and exceeding that target consistently since the standard has been implemented. Where we notice the improvement not being as strong is in terms of uptime. So uptime has to do with how long the ABM is operational during the month, and entities have been hovering between 89% and 90%, which is below the standard of 95%. Primarily what we have understood is that as they have changed out the old ABMs for newer ABMs, that they have had operational issues in terms of calibrating those new ABMs to the currency denominations and other factors. So there's been a trade-off in terms of more ABMs being installed and more being operational, but not as the uptime not being at the standard. We have seen a significant decline in ABM faults. So in January of 2028, there were reported 258,000 ABM faults for the month. That has fallen to 105,000 faults for the month. In terms of safety and security, 6 have brought themselves into compliance, 2 are outstanding. Financial education, 6 have brought themselves into full compliance with that section of the SLS, and 2 are outstanding, 1 is partially compliant. In terms of fraud minimization, 5 out of the 8 are fully compliant, 2 are partially compliant. In terms of availability of cash, 4 are fully compliant, 2 are partially compliant. Maintenance and management of service disruptions. This is where we see not full compliance. We have 2 that are fully compliant, 2 partially compliant, and 4 not yet compliant. And in terms of accessibility and ease of use, for example, providing ABMs for those who are physically disabled or elderly, we have 4 that are partially compliant, 1 that's fully compliant, 3 that's non-compliant.
Guys, thank you for watching. See you this evening at 6 p.m. for another news update.